Gather around.
I remember a particular day.
It's the Untold Stories
You can be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like the night I ran over Andy Preston in the car park.
of footballers past.
Oh boy, this brings back some deep, dark memories.
This is something close to you, Brian.
Untold stories. You stay out of the way of this, Jim.
All right.
You weren't born.
Come on.
So these are stories that we're going to, Damo, just have a look back on with some of the, players that were involved in those particular times. And it happens, Bill, that in episode 1 we're going to go to a guy by the name of Mark Orval, who was playing at Collingwood. He played 7 or 8 games for the Pies and had a shocking stress fracture of his foot, I think, that ended his career very prematurely.
Played in your time, Bristol?
Played in my time when I was there. So
Talented.
I had him as a teammate. He was a very, very good player, and he joins us on Triple M Footy now. Orvs, welcome to you, mate.
G'day, Barge. How are you going?
Very good. Now, you were there in a very good period. There were a lot of characters at Collingwood at the time, and it was an interesting place with guys like Banks and Mullane and these sort of guys, wasn't it?
When you look back, it was an unbelievable era, the 80s and 90s. And the thing that stands out for me is saying Christ there wasn't phones and the like around those days. There would have been a lot of people in trouble, Barge.
Absolutely, there would. Now there were a couple of guys. Johnny Markoff was a guy that played in the reserves, and he'd kick 10 goals a week. But when he went up to the senior level, he did okay, but not quite as good as he did in the reserves. And his best mate was a guy by the name of Athos Hisralakis, who played about 19 games for the Magpies there, and he was another great character. He was a quiet, sort of modest guy, wasn't he? Shy, reasonably shy.
Oh, absolutely. Gave you nothing, to be honest. I mean, I come through the 19s with him as well, so got to know him fairly well. But you look back on those days in terms of the characters, Kappa, Jakovic and the like, Mark Jackson just a bit before that. But Athos was, in his time, was unbelievably funny. And you didn't know how to take him half the time. And I remember one game in 87, I happened to play in it, and Robbie Flower, that was his last year, and Athos lined up on him on the wing.
So where was it? Which ground?
Big Park, Barge, Big Park in front of the faithful there, and Flower had actually kicked a couple, and Athos said to him, and I'll never forget it, actually, that was the day I got a report of hitting Jimmy Steins in a week as well. But
so this is a quiet, modest guy.
Quiet, modest guy, stood toe-to-toe to him on the wing, right? Wouldn't say he booed Athos, nor he looked at Robbie Flower and he said to him, "You kick another one, I'm going to burn your house down."
Oh, no!
Not Robbie Flower.
Burn his house down.
So no respect, absolutely zero respect. And Athos tried to play that game of getting into his mind. I don't think Flower even blinked, to be honest. He kicked 3 on the day, and I know Athos didn't burn his house down because he went on to be a cop, so he would have been charging himself, 15 minutes later.
Is he a copper now, is he?
Yeah, I think he still is, Barge. I know he went into the police force, so how ironic is that?
Yeah, that is incredible. Hey, you would remember another story. I remember another. Can you recall the one on the wing where he said something to a player about his fighting ability? Do you remember that story?
Yeah. I think it was Mickey Turner at Waverley, actually. And that was before the game, a bit of niggle, sort of getting into each other. He was a bit of a tagger, and him and Turner were just sort of, again, nudging each other, etc. Just Athos turned around, looked at him and said, "Don't do that." And he goes, "I know Kung Fu." And as soon as he said it, he went straight into character. He's rocked that Kung Fu horse and half cat stance. I think Mickey Turner looked at him and thought, "What the bloody hell's going on here?"
And Mickey could go a bit, and I think it scared Mickey.
Mick couldn't go. He says he could go, but he couldn't go.
No, he was a great character, Athos Hisralakis. And then after that, I had him at Paran. I coached Paran. I don't know whether you know, Bill.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we know. You
Quite
taped the opposition coaches.
Wired the box.
Quite successfully, I might add. Had him down there, and he didn't give us a lot down there either.
What about
I think he then went back home, Barge. He went to Layla. I think he played in the premiership with them, with Archie Paredes and all of those guys that sort of fed through the under-19s from that Layla Epping sort of town. Hey, put it this way, they were good guys to know and not instead of not knowing, because
That's right, spot on.
They were as rough as Hessian undies, let me tell you.
Now, how are you going, Marco? Because for those who don't know who you are,
yes,
you are the internet sensation, Angry Dad.
No, look, the world's gone crazy, hasn't it, Billy?
Well, and where your sons they prank video on you, and you've got a very short temper. You do the nana, and then they paint your hair white or something like that. It's gone berserk, mate. You are a superstar.
It's a bit embarrassing when you think about it. I mean, I invested 600 odd grand putting those little buggers through private school. They turned out into delinquents.
very good, Orvs. And I mentioned before, it was a stress fracture in your foot that stopped you going on, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had 9 operations in the end, Barge. So, like, 7 years, 7 games and 9 operations. It's a really sort of sad statistic to look back on, isn't it?
Who were the guys? Yeah, it is indeed. Who were the guys you used to hang around with? I know Dakes was a good mate of yours. Who was in your little clan?
McGuan, Krasiska and Mullane, probably the main ones. We sort of, Coventry House was a little sort of place of abode with.
That's right. So Bill, Orv just mentioned Coventry House.
Yes.
This was a double-storey Victorian terrace across the road from Collingwood in Luley Street that Collingwood had purchased for guys like Mark who had come in.
Yep.
Those guys were all living there at the time?
Yeah, there was myself, Krasiska, McGuan, Brett Glowry, you'd remember, Barge, and Greg Full. And we all used to have to sleep with one eye open because you never knew what the next person was going to do to you.
Imagine what happened there.
What about the lady that looked after them with the meals? When will you be home?
Originally, that was Gav's mum, Mrs. Krasiska, who did that until she unfortunately passed away while she was looking after us there, which was just tragic. But yeah, look, great times. And you know what? I can still recall, actually, Bud, you'll love this. I was on the first floor, and it's about 4 metres high, and there's probably about a 20-centimetre ledge going around the whole house.
Hang on, get the dump button ready.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it clean, Billy. I could have been in there asleep. I might have actually had a friend in there, I don't know, but I just recall thinking someone was looking. And I look up, and McGuan and Greg Fall had actually snuck round that ledge on the house, 4 metres up, mind you. Fall, they would have broken both their legs. Looking in through the window. And all I was only in there asleep, Billy, of course.
Of course you were.
Hey, Mark, you played, as Barge said, with some incredible players. The great Dennis Banks, of course, the legend for lots of reasons, but also Pants Mullane. Could you believe in Dakes? These are famous, magnificent Collingwood names. Can you believe in all of that Craig Kelly got a game, let alone became a premiership player?
Oh, I couldn't believe it, to be honest. When he first turned up, I mean, all you saw was a big head and a set of shoulders. He couldn't even bend over. And you know what? It's no better these days. His muscles are bigger these days from curling all his bloody cash. But good on him. Good luck to him.
All right, well done. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it, Mark.
Thanks, Bard. See you, boys.
Nice start, Bristol.
Yeah.
Untold stories. Lots of them still to come, of course.